this feeling which is rolling round in my brain. What can I do to make it all go away? I believe they call this thing fear and anxiety. With me night and day, can't make it go away. Sleepless nights and worry all around. Help me get my feelings back to solid ground. Indigestion, I can't concentrate. When will I ever begin to feel okay? This is Village Vic, and you have reached Chapter 5 of the podcast Rolling Around in My Brain, which are lyrics from my latest song called Anxiety. Now, just to remind you, I'm not a medical professional. So if you are experiencing extreme anxiety, depression, please go and see your doctor. Well, I'm basically talking about my experiences, how I've dealt with different issues related to anxiety, and hoping that my experiences can help you in dealing with some of the same issues. Okay, today we're going to be talking about workplace anxiety, and it can refer to a lot of things. It can be anxiety of not being liked by your boss. The anxiety that comes from making critical decisions where a mistake could cause you to get fired. The anxiety that comes from a possible promotion and the competition you face from colleagues that would also like to get the job. The anxiety that just comes from unbelievable workloads and the expectations supervisors have. We're all going to have a degree of stress in trying to juggle all the requirements of work, family, and personal needs and desires. But when that anxiety causes sleepless nights, physical ailments, constant worry, negative effects on you and your family, you may need to seek help. I'm going to tell you about one of my personal experiences that had a dramatic effect in my life. I was working in a position involving technology. Anyone who's dealt with technology, be it on their cell phone, television, or internet, sometimes it can be quite challenging in addressing these problems. But just think about a situation of working in a Fortune 500 company with multiple locations, hundreds of computers, including large mainframes, with a limited staff to support the environment. The complexities and demands are through the roof. Well, I was in such a situation. Now, when you're working in technology, it's usually wise to have equipment and software as compatible as possible. It enables complexities to be reduced, and it eliminates the need to bring in new staff members with new skill sets just to be able to maintain the environment. Well, I had a situation where higher-ranked individuals were making decisions about purchasing hardware and software that ultimately the current staff would have to maintain. The problem was those individuals had no training or background in technology, and they were making decisions that would affect our lives, our workload. I was furious. And I was losing sleep over what these individuals were doing to our department. In fact, one day I became so furious, I jumped over 2 levels of management to voice my complaints. Now, they gave the appearance of listening to me, but it fell on deaf ears. They went ahead with their plans anyway. They thought they knew better. Well, I was furious. I remember coming home one night being so rattled that I was shaking. I lied down on the couch and started losing feeling in my extremities. I was scared. I eventually sought out some medical professionals for help, and they tried various medications to calm me down, which helped. But the bottom line anxiety was still there when I went to work. I thought my days were numbered after going 2 levels above my current boss to speak out. Well, I never did get fired, but I just decided 6 months later that I had had enough. I was just not willing to work in those conditions. And sure as the sun rises, as soon as I left, my anxiety went away. It left, but it had long-lasting effects. My anxiety came and went for years, which was creating cortisol in my body, which ultimately led to a heart attack. Yes, extreme anxiety is dangerous, and ultimately you have to decide whether your anxiety is irrational and with counseling could be overcome, or whether the anxiety is rational and perhaps it's time to move on, if nothing else, for mental and physical health. People leave employment for lots of reasons, like low pay, working conditions, lack of benefits, yes, and anxiety. Leaving is always somewhat traumatic because you're stepping into the unknown. Let's put a little levity on the topic with a joke. Okay, a man walks into his boss's office one day and says, Sir, I want to be honest with you. I know the economy isn't in great shape, but I got these 3 companies after me, and I'd like to ask for a raise respectfully. After a few minutes of haggling, the boss finally agrees to give him a 5% raise, and he happily gets up and starts to leave. By the way, the boss asks as the man is leaving his office, which 3 companies were after you? The man replies, oh, that was the electric company, the water company, and the phone company. Yes, one of the stresses that comes with leaving a workplace is finances. Do you really have another job, or will you be looking for one? Another example of workplace anxiety is when your boss does not have the same moral values you have. So I'm going to give you another example. In this situation I heard about, the boss was a womanizer and basically was always on the hunt to sleep with whoever was willing. The whole organization knew about it. He set a tone in the office that anyone who didn't agree with his lifestyle was considered a prude and on the outside looking in. This is a difficult situation because the person has power over you. Do you go along to get along, or laugh at his jokes, or reject his actions, which could have repercussions on the future of your job? Now, in this case, I'm not talking about sleeping with the guy, but tolerating his toxic environment, crude jokes, etc. In the situation I'm speaking of, the person just did their job so well that losing that person would be painful to the organization. Well, that worked for a while, but ultimately the person lost their job anyway. There's a lot of stress in this situation because you're living in an environment where the shoe could drop at any moment, and every day you live with underlying verbal abuse. It's tough to fight. But in the end, it actually worked out for the best by leaving the environment because the person actually got a better job. Working for someone else always has its challenges. Is the working environment toxic? Does the environment offer opportunities for the future? How marketable are your current skills? How many people are dependent on the income you bring in? Is this a temporary stop in your career path as you beef up your education and skills? Yes, sometimes you have to bear difficult situations for a period of time, but you should never compromise your values, and don't let the fear of change stop you from moving on. But prepare yourself the best you can for that next step. Keep constantly improving your skills. This is the best type of security you can have. Someone will employ a hard-working individual who has great skills. By taking this approach, you'll also have less anxiety because you'll never have to stay in the current working environment, even if it's toxic, because you continue to make yourself more marketable. It's a great solution to avoid anxiety in the workplace. Okay. Next time we're going to be talking about financial anxiety. But in the meantime, as always, have a stress-free, anxiety-free day, and we'll see you next time. I'm ready to take the path to follow. Give me some help to hang on to. I will go on. It may take many months. I'm ready for bumps, ready to jump, oh ready, ready until I'm free.